Hi everyone, welcome back to Learning with Leah. I'm so glad you could join me today as we talk about common phrasal verbs. All right, so if you missed part one, we talked a lot about what are phrasal verbs and different kinds of phrasal verbs like transitive, intransitive, separable, and inseparable. And I explained a little bit about what they are and how to use them. So if you missed that, make sure you click here to watch that first. All right, if you did watch that, again, let me know if you have any questions. Let's get started with common phrasal verbs. All right, so today we're gonna just talk about some of the most common phrasal verbs that we use in English. As I mentioned in part one, phrasal verbs can be really hard because they are idiomatic in their meaning many times. What does that mean? That means that the meanings are not always literal. So sometimes it can be confusing because it doesn't mean what the word says. And also, sometimes the phrasal verbs can have many different meanings. So don't be overwhelmed. Just try to learn 1, 2, or 3 at a time and practice, and make sure you listen to people around you and search for them when you're confused. But take your time, you will learn as you go. Let's get started with this. All right, so we're gonna dive right in and go through some of these phrasal verbs together. All right, so let's start with number 1, to fall apart. So to fall apart means, normally we mean this when we're talking about something that is going bad, and many times we talk about clothing that is falling apart. Maybe something, maybe there is a button that is falling off, or there's a hole that's in your clothing. Something's starting to go bad and maybe we need to throw it out. So let's look at this sentence. My dress is falling apart. The threads are coming loose. Right? Maybe something's getting loose and maybe it's not good to wear anymore. We would say it is falling apart, to fall apart. Okay, so this is an intransitive phrasal verb. If you missed part 1, make sure you go and watch that. But what is intransitive? That means that there is no object after the phrasal verb. So as you can see here, there's no object. So if we have a transitive phrasal verb, there has to be an object. All right, so let's go to number 2, to drop by. So if you drop by somewhere, that means you arrive somewhere that you did not have an appointment for. So if you go to the doctor, or you go to, I don't know, maybe you go to lunch with a friend that you have planned, you do not use drop by. Okay, you only say drop by if it is unplanned. So maybe in your neighborhood or your community, you might drop by somebody's house. So let's read the example. The neighbors dropped by yesterday to give us some cookies, right? So this means that the neighbors stopped by. They stopped to say hi, to give some cookies, but they did not call, they did not make an appointment. It was just casual, right? To stop by somewhere. Most of the time, we use this maybe with our family or our neighbors when you drop by somewhere. All right, so again, drop by, you can see there is no object after the phrasal verb. So this is intransitive as well. Next one is to eat out. As many of you know, in America, we love to eat out and try different restaurants. So to eat out means to go and eat at a restaurant and you dine in. So you sit down and you have a meal in the restaurant. Okay, so let's read the example. We are eating out at Olive Garden tonight. You could also say, maybe last night my family ate out at Pizza Hut, right? So to eat out means to go out to the city or to the restaurant and eat there. All right, just to remind you, any phrasal verbs we use just like a normal verb. So we can use whatever form of verb we want, just like a normal verb. So you could say, yesterday we ate out, tomorrow we will eat out, for example. Okay, to get rid of. So this, you can see immediately, there are 3 words in this phrasal verb. Okay, so to get rid of means to throw away, or to eliminate, or to give away. Anything that means if it's mine, it's not mine anymore. So maybe I give it to someone, maybe I throw something away, but you no longer have it. You get rid of it. So let's read. Marty got rid of his old uniform from high school. Okay, maybe Marty said, I don't need this anymore, and maybe gives it to his friend, or maybe he throws it away. That means he got rid of it. It's no longer his anymore, right? So maybe if you have a garage sale or a yard sale, and you want to sell some things because you have lots of extra stuff at your house, you might say, I have lots to get rid of. I want to get rid of a lot of things. That means you want to sell them, right? Maybe if you throw something away, you can also use get rid of, right? I don't need these papers anymore. I'm going to get rid of them. I'm going to throw them away. Okay, so the three word phrasal verb, if you look here, there is an object, right? His old uniform is an object. So this means it is separable, or sorry, not separable. This means it is transitive, not separable, because it takes an object, and it is inseparable actually. Okay, most 3-word phrasal verbs are inseparable. They have to stay together. The verb and the particles have to stay right next to each other. So this is transitive because of the object. Okay, next one we have another 3-word phrasal verb, to come up with. All right, if you come up with something, it means you create, or you suggest, or you contribute. Let's look at the example. She came up with an idea for the project at work. So in this example, it means she developed, or she thought of, or maybe she suggested an idea. That's a good idea, right? I came up with an idea. So that could be something. We also can talk about it when it comes to money. So maybe you are saving for vacation. You could say, I am trying to come up with the money for vacation, right? I really want to go. So no matter what, I will find a way to come up with money for vacation, right? You want to save, to find, and figure out a way to get that together, to come up with, okay? All right, so in this one, this is the same as the last one, right? There is an object, an idea is the object. So this means this is transitive, and again, because it's a 3-word, it is going to be inseparable. They have to stay together. Next one, to run into. All right, so run into actually has 2 meanings. As I said in the beginning of the video, phrasal verbs can have more than one meaning. And again, that is what is difficult about phrasal verbs. So the first meaning is when you meet someone, but unexpectedly, right? You're not planned. So maybe the teacher ran into her student at the mall. Maybe I'm walking along and I see my student and we say, oh, hey, how are you? I didn't know you were going to be here, right? It's unexpected. It's not planned. If you if you run into someone, it's not a planned event, right? It's a surprise, okay? Or unexpected, I should say. All right. Another meaning of run into means to crash into something. So if I'm walking along and not paying attention and I run into my board, right? If you crash into something, that means you run into something, right? Maybe if somebody is texting and driving and they are not looking, and they could run into the stop sign, right? Or run into the telephone pole, right? Again, it could be to crash into something. So this has two meanings. All right, so to run into is transitive because there's an object. Her student is an object, all right? But it is inseparable, which means those two words have to stay together. All right, next one, let's go to go through. All right, so this phrasal verb means, again, there's two definitions here as well. So the first one we're going to talk about means to use up, to use something. So, for example, they went through a lot of hand sanitizer during COVID-19. All right, so as most of you know about the coronavirus and COVID-19, many people bought hand sanitizer and Lysol, cleaning wipes, and Clorox and bleach. And you could say many people went through a lot of hand sanitizer and cleaning products. That means they used a lot, right? Maybe if you cook a lot, or maybe you work at a restaurant that fries a lot of food. You might say the restaurant goes through a lot of oil because they fry a lot. That means they use a lot, okay? So that is one of the definitions. Another definition means to search or examine. So this is an example. Maybe you lost your earrings. Maybe you are trying to find them and you are looking everywhere. And you might say, man, I can't find them. I went through every drawer. I searched every drawer, and I went through the bathroom, and I went through the kitchen and the living room, and I can't find them, right? That means to search or to examine, to look for something. Maybe your teacher went through your homework, right? She examined and looked through your homework to see if you finished it and did a good job. Okay, so again, there's multiple meanings for this one as well. Okay, 3 more. We have to make up. All right, to make up, the meaning is to lie or to tell an untrue story. So let's read the example. The little boy made up an excuse that his dog ate his homework. All right, so to make up means to create a story or a lie, right? To make up means to say something untrue, right? The boy said, "Oh, I don't know where my homework is. The dog ate it," right? That's a lie, right? That's a made up story. He made up a story. Okay. Now again, make up can have many different meanings as well. Another meaning of a phrasal verb means to forgive and to reconcile. Okay, that means maybe if you and your friend had a fight and you were very mad at each other and very angry with each other, but you said we need to make up, right? I forgive you, right? We're good now, right? And you talk and you you decide, "Ah, it's okay, I forgive you, you forgive me, we are good now." Right? That means you make up. Your relationship is now good, right? You could say, my friend and I were fighting, but we made up. We're good now. Okay. All right, so this one is actually, as we can see, excuse is an object, so it is a transitive phrasal verb. But this one is separable. So separable, remember if you watched part 1, means that the verb and the particle can be separated in the sentence. So another way to say this sentence would be, the little boy made an excuse up that his dog ate his homework. Okay, so you can move this over here if you want, and the meaning stays the same. So it can be separated. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. Okay, next one, to call off. Oh, that one you can bounce. Yeah, that's an O. All right, to call off. If you call off something, it means you cancel it, right? During the coronavirus, many weddings, many parties and events had to be called off. They had to be canceled. All right, so for example, the boss was sick, so he called off the meeting. All right, so that means that he canceled the meeting. This is a common phrasal verb that we use. Okay, this is a separable phrasal verb, which means, again, the particle can be moved. So you could also say, the boss was sick, so he called the meeting off. And that would be good. Now remember, if you use a pronoun instead of a noun for the object, then you have to put the object in between. So, for example, you would need to say, he called it off. If we were going to use a pronoun instead of a noun for the object, it has to go between the verb and the particle. Okay, and last one, to pick out. All right, if you pick out something, it means to choose something. All right, so maybe if you are at a store, maybe you're at a grocery store, and you are looking through the produce, the vegetables and the fruits, and you want to pick out, you want to choose the best produce, right? I want to pick out the nicest apples. I need 4 avocado. I need to pick out 5 potatoes, for example, right? You to choose. All right, so the example here, she picked out her outfit for school tomorrow. That means she chose her outfit for school. Okay, so again, this one is a separable phrasal verb. So that means out can be moved if you want to. So you could say she picked her outfit out for school tomorrow. So you can switch the object and the particle if you want. Again, if you would make the object a pronoun, you would have to put it between the verb and the particle. So it would be, she picked it out. She picked it out. So again, if the pronoun if the object is a pronoun, it goes between the verb and the particle. All right, so these are some of the most common phrasal verbs. Like I said before, there's so many phrasal verbs in English, but hopefully this is a good start for you as you are learning phrasal verbs and trying to learn English. If you have any questions, any comments, any suggestions about a new video or about this video, please leave a comment below. I would love to help you and to create a video that would be good for you. If you missed part 1, make sure you check out part 1. And if you want to learn and listen to another video on phrasal verbs, please check out my part 3, where we talk about phrasal verbs at work. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you like this video if it was helpful, and please hit subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.